Namaste, everyone. Science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch which illuminates the world. These are the words of Louis Pasteur. Namaste. A warm welcome to everyone to the most awaited Mini Nobel Laureate panel discussion. We are surrounded by living and non living things. Or can we say we are surrounded by physics, chemistry, and biology? We are also covered with blankets of stars. Or is it astrology? We are standing on Earth with faults and cracks. Or is it geology? To make sense from all this, we need our brain, or can we say psychology? Whenever a question arises from what to when, or from why to how, we have science related to it. And those who find the answer to these questions are called scientists. So, we all are scientists in one way or another.
So all our Cups are scientists too. This Mini Nobel Laureate Award gives us an opportunity to honor the budding scientists of our school. This award was introduced in honor of Eric Allin Cornell, an American physicist who, along with Carl E. Wieman, was able to synthesize the first Bose-Einstein condensation in 1995. For this, they shared the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2001. Our chairman, Sir Dr. M. Srinivasan, met the Nobel laureate Eric Cornell as a care parent and was inspired to institute this award to nurture and create noble minds in our Cups. Without any further delay, I would like to welcome our team of panelists. We have a very special guest of honor today, Dr. Mini Balakrishnan, a retired professor from Providence Women's College, Calicut. She is an active member of Kerala Mathematical Association and is associated with the Staff College University, Calicut. She holds a PhD in chaos theory from University of Calicut. Dr. Mini is a keen quiz master and has conducted many regional and state level quizzes. Welcome, ma'am. I request you to kindly share a few words of encouragement to our children.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
I'm very happy to be part of this prestigious award that is being given by the GEAR Public School for encouraging the scientific temper in students. It's a time when we need science, not only for our existence, but for our everyday life also. And it's very important that we give them a chance to nurture their curiosity and become a good scientist. Science, as many of the students have already said, helps us not only to live, but also to live a better life. So I'm so happy to be part of this. I have gone through the brilliant ideas that were put forward by the students, and the brilliant questions also, which led them to think in those lines. The teacher who contacted me said that these answers are not obtainable on Google. They have to use their own brains and work. So the thought-provoking questions need a lot of remark. So it's remarkable. The teachers require a great applause for that. And I'm sure the students who are under your guidance will also be budding scientists. A word about the Bose-Einstein condensation, which the Nobel laureate got the Nobel Prize for. The only person who didn't get a Nobel Prize in that work was Bose, because he was an Indian. Bose, Einstein, Fermi, Dirac. These were the four people involved in developing the particle aspects. And it was only Bose who was not able to get a Nobel Prize. So I hope teachers like this and opportunities like this will bring Nobel laureates from India also. Thank you so much and look forward to being part of this panel. All the best to all the students. Keep up your spirits and your inquiring mind. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to welcome our chairman, sir, Dr. M. Srinivasan, Savi ma'am, Executive Director, Mr. Sarvesh Srinivasan, our dear principal, Ms. Nandini Bhatt, and all my fellow mentors. Our last year awardees were Pratik Goel of grade 11 and Shreya Anand of grade 8. As Pratik is not available due to his exams, Shreya, would you like to share your experience in a few words?
Namaste, everybody. My name is Shreya. I am from 8th grade. The Mini Nobel Laureate has been an amazing experience for many people, including me. It's based off a passion a student has for science. It's a great way to open minds and connect with yourself. When I was selected, it came across as a shock. I felt nervous and eager at the same time, and the anticipation for the next day was overwhelming. There was a lot of tension when the panel started, but I think my excitement outweighed all of the nervousness. I was really, really honored to be there. As it progressed, I grew less and less nervous about making mistakes because I was pretty passionate. And I was also really grateful I got to be selected. Yeah, I tried to lay out my thoughts, but sometimes when the questions were asked, I would tack things on, and I'd be worried about messing up. But as every question passed, my confidence also grew. So, and I realized that I didn't really have to be nervous because I loved science, and if I just sort of spoke my heart, I'd be able to do fine. And the thing about this Nobel Laureate panel is that it's mostly an experience. It's not about winning. So when I came, I wasn't really pressured to win or lose. I was just grateful I had the chance to be selected. And also when I did win, it was extremely unexpected. It came across as a shock because there were so many more capable and knowledgeable people there. But I was so grateful. It was probably the most euphoric moment of my life. So thank you so much, and all the best to everybody here.
Thank you so much, Shreya. Apart from, along with our external judge, we also have two internal judges. Let me welcome Ms. Sharbanu Ibrahim and Ms. Soumya Pramod, our senior science mentors. Namaste, ma'am. Namaste.
Okay.
Namaste, everyone, and all the best to all of you.
Namaste, all the participants and everyone present here, and all the best, children. Thank you.
Okay, let us now move on to the stars of today's session. That is our 8 young panelists from grade 5 to 12. They have successfully completed the preliminary round of selection and are here today because of their academic excellence, exceptional scientific attitude, and passion. Children, when I call out your names, please unmute yourself and switch on the camera to give a quick introduction about yourself. From grade 5, we have Anirudh NC.
Namaste, my name is Anirudh NC. I'm representing grade 5, and my hobbies are playing basketball, doing research, and just reading about it. So and stargazing. What science means to me is science is basically what answers the questions about everything around you, and I really want to understand everything about you because I think that knowledge would be extremely useful now and later in life, and science is what answers all of that. So that is why I like science. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anirudh. Now I welcome Myra Thomas from grade 6.
Namaste and good afternoon to all. My name is Maya Thomas from grade 6. My hobbies are to play the piano and draw, and I take an interest in zoology. I believe science is a logical constituent of almost everything around us. And from the 20th century to the 21st, we've had the most diverse scientific developments one could ever witness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Myra. From grade 7, we have Radhika Gulbani. Radhika?
Yes, namaste everyone. My name is Radhika Gulabrani and I study in grade 7. My hobbies are reading and writing. So for a very long time, I did not consciously realize my bent towards science. But as my parents tell me, since my childhood, I was a keen observer and I love to explore. And I think this is what brought me to start liking science. So I realized that my interest in science is directed towards people and my own ideas about making greater advancements in things like administration and technology while making sure nature is preserved. And science is present in the simplest parts of our lives. If we just notice it, it could be in the smallest of things and or in something big like a new creation or somebody that's even won a Nobel Prize. So I think I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika. Now I welcome Arushi Jha from grade 8.
Namaste, I am Arushi Jha from grade 8. I have always been passionate about science ever since I was a little kid. I remember my very first accomplishment in science was when I was in the 2nd grade, where I had to do this experiment, and my mom taught me on how vinegar reacts with baking soda when added to each other to emit carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is good enough to fill up a balloon. Because of this, I was able to explain it so well that not only did this win me first prize, it also made me really interested in science. I had always been intrigued by how things worked around us and how things functioned around us. And science answered most of these questions in my mind, which is another reason why I've always been in love with science. Apart from this, I have always been particularly interested in biology. I plan on taking up medical sciences or virology, either one of them when I grow up. And this is also because one reason is seeing in the pandemic, during this pandemic, seeing how our doctors and how our scientists have done so much for us, saving lives, vaccines, everything. They've done so much for us to get a normal life back while we've been struggling over here. So I have always been very respectful to all of them, and I hope to do something like this when I grow up. And it's also one more thing is that what's amazing about science is how you can do things that are usually not very, let's just say, easy to do in real life. For example, right now in pandemic, when we didn't have any way of doing classes, online came to us, internet came to us, and we started doing internet classes, taking parts in competition like these itself. We started taking parts in competitions like this. So it's been a very interesting journey, and I can't wait to be a part of this esteemed panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arushi. Now from grade 9, we have Soham Agarwal.
Unmute.
Unmute
yourself, Soham. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Soham Agrawal from grade 9. It's an honor to be here, a part of this panel discussion. And I'd like to thank Sir for this wonderful opportunity. I hope to learn and share a lot today. I like to find things that challenge what we are taught and what I believe. And science provides room for thinking differently. You think you've understood exactly what you've learned or what you've been told, but then the conflict comes around. Conflicting my conception creates doubt. Doubt creates the natural human tendency to want to clear this doubt, which leads to learning more, and so on. That is why I like science, because it is the study of defining everything, of logically explaining everything, but sometimes these definitions and explanations must be challenged. The more I try to learn, the more I realize we don't know. Einstein challenged the very core of what we believed, and we witnessed one of the greatest scientists in the making. If I were to summarize what I like about science, it will be that I can challenge what I learn and learn from this endless library of knowledge that is so close to us, but is expanding every second of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Soham. Now I welcome Fadil Khan of grade 10. Fadil.
Yeah, so namaste everyone. My name is Fadil. I'm from grade 10, and I'm very passionate about science, and I also am very passionate about mathematics as well. Now, coming to the main reason why I like these subjects, first of all, I like anything which involves logic, thinking, and curiosity. And science and maths lay their foundations on these qualities. Another big reason why I like science is just satisfaction and the joy of doing it. Humanity has this strong desire of knowing things, of knowledge, of wanting to know the truths of things happening around you on earth, beyond earth, even inside you. And each small thing you understand, each small truth you uncover, no matter how trivial it is, you want to know more and do more. So that is why I study science, just for the satisfaction of the desire and the joy, sheer joy of doing it. Also, in this process of developing science, due to our desire, we also progress and develop a lot as a society. That is because, apart from just the joy of knowing science, there are vast applications of it in our daily lives. For example, someone might have discovered radio waves just to know about the electromagnetic spectrum, but today we are here having an online discussion only because of the fact that there's live, constant transmission of radio waves from Earth to the satellites up in space. The person who discovered it might not even have thought about it when he discovered it. So even though we have achieved so much, I still believe science has a huge potential and there's a lot more to come. So I would like to contribute to science as much as I can so that we are one step closer in understanding this world and also for the progress and development of humanity. Some more of my hobbies include coding, basketball, and speed cubing. And also, I'm a very big fan of the huge mathematician and scientist Carl Friedrich Gauss. So thank you. That's about me, and I'm looking forward to a great discussion.
Thank you so much, Fadil. We have Pooja Vishwanathan from grade 11. Welcome, Pooja.
Namaste everyone. My name is Pooja Vishwanathan from grade 11 and I have always loved science. One aspect I really like about science is how it helps in solving problems. And like no matter what the situation is, once you understand the logic or the what and the why behind it, it just becomes so much more easier to find a solution. So you can say I like how science has an answer to everything. And another thing I really like about science is that every day is a new learning experience. Like there's just so much to learn and there's no like stopping point for science. So I like that. And I am especially passionate in about life sciences, mainly physiology and anatomy of humans. I like to read up on many articles regarding the human body. So that apart from science, I enjoy solving puzzles. So I like to challenge myself solving a variety of Rubik's cubes, and I speed cube as well. I enjoy painting. I find that painting really calms my mind, and I enjoy reading. I like reading different genres of books, like from humor to science fiction, and I enjoy playing. Like I play a wide variety of sports. So that's me. I'm looking forward to participating in the panel discussion today.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Now I welcome Yash Kirk of grade 12. Yash.
Namaste everyone. I hope you can all hear me very clearly. My name is Yash and I am a grade 12 science student who is currently a JEE aspirant. Now, in the field of science, I'd call myself a rebel. Now, what I mean by that is I have a tough time accepting facts and statements as they come. My process of learning generally includes attacking what's being taught. What I mean by that is I try to find the problems. I try to see where the person who's made the statement could have gone wrong. And now, when all of my doubts and when all of my attacks fail, when I'm defeated, this is the kind of defeat I find greater satisfaction in. Because then my concepts are clear and I don't really have to memorize anything. I hate memorizing what we learn, and I just really prefer going by the concept, going by the core, and being able to reiterate it very naturally. I also enjoy playing a multitude of sports, including football, badminton, basketball, and I'm really looking forward to learning and providing my thoughts in this panel discussion today. Thank you.
Thank you, Yash. According to Indian scientist, our Jagdish Chandra Bose, the true laboratory is the mind, right? Where behind illusion, we uncover the laws of truth. With this thought, I request our chairman, sir, to please open the discussion. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. I think I'd like to add something to what we started with. We have this belief and purpose right from the beginning. I think many of you wouldn't have seen our printed brochure. The last page says we are working on producing the future Nobel laureates and Wimbledon champs. That is our specific aim. It so happened that Eric Cornell was a part of our school. He was a parent for some time. And in the process, I talked to him and we set up this mini Nobel Prize. Now, coming to the program today, for me, all of you are a winner. And I'm sure you could be given an award for the introduction you made of yourself. No need to go for further discussions. But still, you have a lot in you. We would like to listen to you, understand you. As an opening round, I'd like each one of you to talk about something that is still mysterious and you're not able to crack. It could be a problem, it could be a phenomenon, it could be something that you've not been able to understand or explain. What is that? Or is there anything like that or not? It is not essential that everybody should have one something like that and go crazy. No. But if you have one, or if you can think of one, you would be very happy to listen to it, because don't take this as a competition. Take it as an experience. You are getting a chance to pour out your mind. But only a small restriction is it has to be about science. That's all. So you can go ahead, and I'm extremely happy to see this every year. And no doubt, it is more exciting for all of us than the children themselves. Okay? So with that, let's start with whoever is ready, or else we'll go with the child from grade 5. Arshi?
All the panelists, can you all come on camera? Can you all switch on your camera, all the 8 panelists? Yes. Okay.
Namaste, children. I'm on floor already. Sorry, Nandini ma'am.
Yeah. Right. Anirudh, do you want to talk?
Yes, ma'am, I think I'll go first.
Yes.
One phenomenon that's always been very mysterious to me was the relation between gravity and time. I really didn't. I was reading this book. I tried to read this book by Stephen Hawking called A Brief History of Time, and somewhere I don't remember where I read that gravity has a relation on time. So it says. The more gravity an object has, which basically means the more mass an object has, the less the slower time goes. That's something I've always found mysterious, how much ever I thought about it.
Great.
Namaste, children. Panelists, if anyone is ready, please do a raise hand. We'll go in that order so somebody is ready. Yeah. Yash, I see you. Go ahead.
Now, my idea, I've always had discussions with my parents and peers regarding religion and the need for people to have a God. Now, I don't mean to hurt any religious sentiments of the people present here. I really respect everyone's opinion. But my opinion, or well, you could say my theory of why people need a God figure is because humans hate to take blame, and they love giving blame. So now what I could derive from that is, it's my own crude example. There was a village a long time ago, and a flu wiped out half of the village. Now, a lot of people at that time may not understand the concept of virus or of diseases. So now they thought of someone to blame to why this has happened, to why half of the people have died. So they come up with a deity who symbolizes anger and death. And they say that they have displeased this deity, hence half of the village has been killed by an unknown force, a virus which they cannot see and understand just yet. So I'm always open to have discussions similar to these where abstract ideas are kind of challenged.
Thanks, Yash, for giving a different dimension to the flow. And Fadil, Kana, you can go ahead.
There's this one thing which I still don't understand properly. It's easy to say that how it works, but I still don't understand it. So one thing is that one thing is rainbow. You know, people say there's the sunlight, there are raindrops. The raindrops behave like the glass prisms which disperse sunlight. But then if you actually think about the details in it, how exactly does it happen? I mean, there are millions of raindrops all in the air, and there's sunlight falling on each of them. And how is it that all of the sunlight refracting from them fall on your eyes? And what if there are 2 or 3 internal reflections in it? Then it can just go in some other direction instead of coming to you. So I still don't understand how it's possible that millions of raindrops, there's one sun hitting light on all of those raindrops, and all of them refracted in one single direction so that it comes to your eyes.
Thanks, Fadil, for the colorful mystery that you are exploring. And then I'll go with Soham.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So one thing in science that confuses me is energy and the questions that I have about it. So let us say an alien named Alistair comes to Earth, and he is smaller than an electron. Now, if it is given a heated ball, it will only see moving particles, right? Particles with kinetic energy. But if we are given the ball, we would say that it has heat energy. Another example of why energy confuses me would be, let us say a boy, whose name is Paul, is sitting in a train, and he has a ball. Now, from Paul's perspective, the ball has 0 kinetic energy. But from Jack's perspective, who's outside, he would see the ball and Paul having some kinetic energy. So you would think that something would have a definite amount of energy. But for someone on the sun, we all sitting in one place have a lot of kinetic energy. Furthermore, let us say that Jack gets on the train with Paul and the ball. Now, he would see Paul and the ball having 0 kinetic energy. Does this mean that Jack getting on the train removed Paul and the ball's kinetic energy? So that confused me a lot. I still don't have the answer to that question.
And with all Paul, Jack, we are also on the train. So figuring out kinetic energy. I'll go with Pooja next. Thank you, Soham. Pooja?
Yes, ma'am. So one thing that always has me puzzled is the migration pattern of birds. I follow David Attenborough, who is an English broadcaster. Like I've watched a few of his documentaries, and there was this one documentary about Arctic terns, their birds, and their migration pattern. Like they travel 9,000, 10,000 miles, and it's like not that they have. It's like they don't have a GPS or a device to help them locate where they're traveling to. They just depend on their gut feeling of direction. I don't even know what triggers them to go to the place they want to go, but somehow all the birds in that flock in a particular area migrate to this place for mating or for food, and then they somehow find the direction and come back to the place where they started. So I find that very interesting, because I especially find this interesting in birds Because I know for other animals which migrate, like for example, elephants migrate in search of water. But in case of an elephant, like there's this leader, sort of a grandmother type leader called the matriarch, which has great memory. So they depend on their memory for migrating. So I sort of able to understand how animals migrate because they depend on they're able to recall from memory and navigate. But for birds is just not able to understand what goes on in their brain and makes them travel in this particular direction. And I recently read in an article that due to the signals emitted by radio towers, as in the cell phone towers, a part of their brain is not able to function effectively and they're losing their sense of direction. So recently it came in the news, I think like a few weeks ago, that a flock of birds lost their sense of direction and crashed somewhere in US, like in the skyscraper buildings, and there was a lot of loss of life. So in conclusion, I mean, I would say this is one thing that has always puzzled me, like the migration of birds. So that's what I would say.
Thanks, Pooja. I think giving a brilliant idea to look for the birds, find their pattern, probably in your life sciences courses you are taking up, you'll be able to figure out and then connect it. And then next I have Myra ready. Myra, can we have you?
Yes, so something that's always baffled and intrigued me would be psychology. It's a default reaction of 90% of the people and a probability that the 10% may not go along with it. So it's something that you do that invokes an urge in other people to behave in a certain manner or do something at the moment. Take a quiet room, for example. People will not talk any louder or will not talk loudly at all. In fact, they'll feel the urge to talk in whispers. And there's none of that energetic buzz, people breaking the ice. They just want to converse, but in a very secretive way or maybe in very quiet whispers. So then that's just awkward. Everyone feels that the silence is there and they should maintain it that way. But if there's ambient noise, louder music, people will anyway have to start talking louder. And then all of a sudden, there's that energetic buzz. They start talking, they start breaking the ice, conversing more, they talk more. So that's there. Now, take for an example, someone's hidden something from you, and you say that, I found it without actually finding it. It may be their default reaction to look in the direction that they probably placed that object, or look at the place they've hid it. So then you might know where it is, right? But that's now a default reaction. Psychology can be in many ways. It can be manipulative mind games or just things that you say and people will react to it. You know they will. It's a probability of some sort, but something that invokes their mind to behave that way. Tell them that you better see whether that's all right or you better behave this way because that is how it is. So yes, that is what intrigues me and baffles me till this day.
That was a very different perspective on looking at a younger kid talking about psychology and probability and then combining ones. That was very nice, Myra. Thank you. And hope I can converse now loudly. And you won't count me into that particular category that you grouped now. Yes, I have Radhika ready. Yeah, Radhika.
Yes, so what has always intrigued me is that we say always that humans are the smarter species or we're more important than others. So yes, we may have certain brain cells that allow us to think in particular directions, but why is it that our brains have developed this sense that we need to make greater creations? Why do we need to have all this technology? Why have we not just adapted like animals and lived in the nature? Yes, again, coming back to the fact that we say that humans are smarter, but at the same time, if you look at animals, yes, they may not have hands, they have their paws, they may not talk in a normal way, like what we consider normal, but at the same time, they have actually survived better than us. They have understood how to properly coexist. The carnivores may eat other animals, but the population always seems to balance out. They're able to manage themselves. and they have their own smartness. They figure out what condition it is. For example, birds, they understand that they have to migrate, so that means they are not unknowledged, or they have brain cells. So why is it that us humans are the ones that have this pull towards technology? This has always sort of confused me, and I want to find out why. Thank you.
That was very nicely, aptly put. I probably remember a cartoon saying one particular moon telling to Mars, "They are coming, run away, save yourself." That we is us. So humans are coming, save. So it's exactly the same as you put. I think we have caused more damage to Earth than anybody else, any other species. Thanks, Radhika, for bringing up that. And I have Arushi.
Yes, ma'am. So one thing that has always intrigued me personally is ever since we started, online classes and everything, I got very exposed to the internet. Everyone got exposed to the internet. And what got me thinking was, how does the internet work? Many people say that internet works through, there are different ways, routers, this, that, Ethernet, anything. But what I've always wondered is, how does the internet actually work? Is it through certain fibers? Is it through certain technology? How has it been developed? Is very mysterious to me. It has always been something that I wanted to fathom, but I never was able to find out. So I hope that one find this out, and as the internet develops more, maybe this will even come on a website, that how it's exactly developed in over these years, and how people have started using internet more over this period of just 2 to 3 years, over maybe in 2000s where people did not use it. Right now it has been so used because of how much people are online classing, doing this, doing these type of competitions itself. All of these things in general have been really intriguing for me.
Thank you for bringing your technology perspective to understand the exponential growth or change that something can bring. I think that is what has made you curious, if I am right. Sir, I think all of them have one round of responses. Children, is there anyone who wants to add anything more? Probably over the progression of the session, you wanted to add something more. Was there something like that? Please do a raise hand. Otherwise, we'll continue. Over to you, sir.
Okay, we'll request Dr. Mini to ask the next round.
My question.
Yes, ma'am.
My question to the budding scientists is, how will you personally do something to save the Earth from global warming and climate change? What will you do to help the Earth? And one point about what Professor Srinivasan was asking, you have given answers which are so vast that you will require a lot of research to understand your problems. So I know you have a very inquiring mind. So tell me, what is your perspective of helping the Earth? Each one of you can answer.
Yeah, ma'am. Children, those who are ready, do a raise hand. If not, we will come with an order. I know probably you need a couple of minutes to think, but anyone who is able to process it faster and then is ready, please do let us know. Raise hand, okay. Yeah, Yash, I think, ma'am, Yash is ready.
Yes.
Yash, go ahead.
I'll listen to Yash. Yeah. Yash is the person who was wondering about God, right? Yeah. The fact is that people needed something to, as you said, blame. Not only that, they were afraid of many things, even afraid of the sun and the moon. So maybe that's how they developed the fear, and also to shirk responsibility, as you said. Now, just tell me, what is your idea of saving the Earth?
Now, when we talk about saving the Earth from global warming, from pollution, the general answers would be to go green, to develop green energy. But yes, that definitely should be something we should all strive for. But also what we as humans have done is we've taken a lot and we've displaced it. So we take something, say we take chemicals from the land, from minerals, we make plastics and we displace them into the oceans where they're not supposed to be. So what we have to do is basically clean up. We got to take what we've thrown into the oceans, take it back and reuse it instead of going and digging some more up. We need to let the earth heal. We need to stop taking new stuff and just reusing what we've already thrown out. Now, there are a lot of leading companies and MNCs that are now striving for this. They are shoe manufacturers who are using plastics, waste plastics, to manufacture their shoes. That being a great marketing strategy also does help and encourage other companies to follow the same pursuit. That would be it for now.
No, personally, what will you be doing?
Personally, I will try to find different ways of cultivating or developing how we can reuse certain things which we think are use and throw. Now, not everything, like for example, a bottle. Now we all use a bottle. Now because it says use and throw and we all know it's use and throw, people tend to just throw it, not think twice about it. But there could be an NGO. I could start an NGO which collects bottles, makes them into small pots for baby plants, and spreads it around, or makes it like a small gifting kind of a company.
Okay, Yash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next is Anirudh.
Yes, since I was very young, I always had this idea. Since I was always fascinated by solar panels. So then I realized before I had heard the strategy of storing the solar energy in batteries and using that as energy in the night. I always thought, what would happen in the night when the sun would not be there to provide solar energy. I heard that all energy could be converted. So I thought maybe I would, when I grew up and I learned a bit more about energy, maybe I would take the concept of light energy, and instead of making solar panels, maybe I would make these things that I would name light panels, which you could put them on your house or on your car, and they could just generate electricity from the light that in the night the moon reflects from the sun. One more thing would be, instead of just you get everything from the earth. Everything that we have now is from the earth. So if we convert them into products that are convenient for us and just release them back to the earth in that form, that is convenient for us but not for the earth. So what you can do is, while taking it, you can convert it back to their natural form and send it back. Instead of just sending it back, everything comes from a natural form, so you can just convert everything back to its natural form once you have used them, and then release it back into the wild, which would be both beneficial for you because you would have gotten rid of some waste, and for the wild because it would have gotten back something that you have taken.
Anirudh, you were the one who was worried about gravity, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. It was Newton who first thought he has solved the problem of gravity. That was in 1687. And for 200 years, Newton was correct. Then Einstein also tried gravity. Now, Thanu Padmanabhan is trying to find out what is gravity. So your worry about gravity is very old. So you can still think about it and find an answer to it. All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mini ma'am. Next is Arushi.
Arushi, yeah.
Yes. So when you think about it, when you talk about global warming, you see how glaciers are melting, and you see that people are polluting our earth in any way, water, air, noise pollution, everything. It contributes to global warming. How can we stop it? First off, many people have seen how in global warming, animals, the species of animals are going extinct because of poaching, illegal hunting, all of these things. They've really affected the lives of animals. So I personally feel, first off, that I would make such a startup which would start helping in saving animals and all these endangered species, and try to bring them back to a vast amount which they should be in, which they deserve to be in. My second point is that how, when we talk about global warming, we think about glaciers and how it melts. But when it melts, people say that it will come from Antarctica to here, to the world where we are living, and so forth. What I feel is that we will have to stop this global warming. By stopping this, what I mean is that we will have to start working together as in a world full of people. We should start working towards a more healthier earth, start helping the earth to heal its resources, and be careful with how we use water, how we waste water, so and so forth. And once we do this and we stop pollution, apart from saving water and stuff, if we stop pollution, this itself will be a big help to Mother Earth, which is because, of course, the glaciers will stop melting because of the pollution. So yeah, that's my 2 points that I feel are essential for saving our Earth from global warming. Thank you.
Arushi, you talked about internet.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So using the internet leads to a lot of e-waste. So that's also there. So what would be your solution to it?
I feel personally, e-waste has been a very controversial topic to me personally, ever since I've seen how the world has developed in the form of internet. But what I could do about this is how to start putting trackers on the internet, how to start seeing how many people are actually using the internet for good, how many people are using it for bad things, for not correct things that are not correct for the world, and so forth, and how e-waste can stop because of this. And we can conserve energy instead of just using online, instead of going online for everything. We should also sometimes prefer looking into our books, looking into asking people who are like teachers, parents, people who are elder than you. They must know, they must have an answer. So these are the ways that I feel that we could stop e-waste.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is Pooja.
Yeah. So recently, around a few months ago, the UN committee released a report that talked about the impending climate crisis that is actually happening. And in that, there were a few facts that really changed my perspective about the future. One was that the world itself, the temperature, is 1.1 degrees higher than the pre-industrial times, like before the emissions started increasing. And they released a statement saying if the temperature increases by just 0.5 degrees more, this would just lead to so many adverse impacts on the entire nation, climate, geostorms. There'll be so much political and economical losses. So and this is said to be happening within a decade. So if we don't stop, releasing all these emissions into the atmosphere, then our future is going to be really, really very bad. So there are two things that everyone, like all scientists, are telling to follow. One is the decarbonization, like stop, emitting CO2 and other greenhouse gases into the air. So stop pollution. Start using solar energy or hydel energy, more renewable forms of energy instead of fossil fuels. So that, and also there are new technologies that are being implemented, and a few are already, have already been invented that can absorb the CO2 from the atmosphere. So I think more funding of these technologies would be really beneficial in the future, in the near future. So that, and we are actually beginning to see the effects of climate change right now. So other than glaciers, there are a few regions in the north, and the foundations of these buildings are permafrost in the sense that they're permanently frozen. So they depend on this for the structural integration of houses. And all this ice that is supposed to be permanently frozen is melting right now. So we can see the effects of the climate crisis that is happening right now, and it needs to be stopped. Another thing I would like to mention here is about the Earth overshooting. I'm not sure if many people know it, but there is this amount of energy that is meant to be used within a year to stop the excess greenhouse from entering the atmosphere. And up till 2019, all nations used to, as in the world itself, used to complete the amount of energy prescribed by the month of May or April, like before the year is over. But now, because of the pandemic, because of not that much energy, because most of the people at home, it extended till August. So this was something interesting I read. But we really need to work better than that if we want to stop the climate crisis. And personally, I feel that in whatever field of line that I am to work on or dedicate my future to, I will ensure that whatever it is I do, I will make this problem my first, and I will work on it. It may be, inventing something new, or it may be simply funding another person's patent, but I will ensure that some steps are taken to prevent the climate crisis. So
Okay.
I'd like to, yeah.
That's
so.
Okay, you were talking about migration. There is a magnetic field on the Earth which is responsible for guidance. So maybe you will read more about it and not disrupt the magnetic field by using too much of electromagnetic radiations. Okay, so I think we'll go to the next person. Yeah, Arati.
Soham?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. So first we take a look at the root of the problem. The root of the problem is us. So we can either change the root of the problem or you can completely pluck the root out. Now it's not a feasible solution to completely stop using fossil fuels or polluting the earth. But according to me, nothing can be done individually as a person anymore. We have deteriorated the situation far more than we think we have. As long as the community does not coordinate, nothing will be done. As long as people do not know what they are doing and why they should not do it, nothing can be done about global warming. So, according to me, raising awareness is the first and most important step to save the earth. A united community is the most powerful workforce we possess. Going to places where a lot of people usually are, like the mall or workplaces, with the permission of the owners, and raising awareness, doing workshops, showing people what to do and what not to do would really help. Using social media platforms is a very good way to reach out to a lot of people in today's era. And no individual effort can help us anymore. Thank you.
Soham, that is a wonderful way of creating awareness. And the question that you raised about the train and all that is explained in relativity, which you will learn after some time. You have given a very good solution of creating awareness. Thank you. Arti, we'll go to,
yeah. Radhika, thank you, Soham. Radhika.
Yes. So first of all, we should address the fact that we do these small things, like we have beach cleaning up drives, or we make posters, put them up telling us to stop littering. But the question is, how many of us actually do that? In fact, a lot of people that even make these posters or do this sort of stuff don't actually take that initiative. So, and another thing is that the people that use plastic even now, do they actually need to? How many of us use this plastic for an actually useful thing? For example, I'm ashamed to admit that even until the age of 5 or 6, I used straws to drink water just because I thought it was funny, even though they're so harmful to the environment. And so we need to really change our mindsets rather than doing these small things if we want to remove global warming. And littering is only half of the problem. The other is mainly by air pollution and all other types of pollution. So we may have done all this for plastic, but what about all the factories that we have that are producing so much carbon dioxide? We have not done anything about them. So another thing I think is that what I would personally do, I think we can try using bio-friendly technology for helping nature. A small idea I had was that like scenic places where people go to hike, we can have trash cans placed on the sides. And yes, trash cans are there in a lot of the hikes, but we can do something more advanced. Like once a trash can is completely full, there can be some sort of sensor to realize that it has filled to the brim, and there should be a way for the people that are taking care of these hiking trails to find out, and these trash cans should be emptied, because otherwise if people just keep throwing more stuff, it's just going to overflow and not help anyway. So I'd like to say again that we should really change our mindsets. And plus, the people that, yes, there are people that care about the environment, but we still are in the minority. There's a lot more people that don't care. So you can use the example that when Mahatma Gandhi launched the freedom with non-violence, if he had only a couple of 50 or 60 people with him, would it have really mattered as much? It would not have. Just because the entire or most of the India was with him, because of that the British were able to leave. So like that, we all need to come together and do this in a larger scale to help the environment. Thank you.
Yes, Radhika, since you talked about Gandhiji and why humans are the smartest, Gandhi also said that there is everything for humans' need, but not to satiate his greed. So I think we should differentiate between need and greed and help the earth.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Radhika. The next
Fadil?
person, Aarti. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So we always focus on awareness, spreading awareness about global warming so that people will listen and stop. But one person's effort doesn't do anything. And even if you spread awareness, it's after all the person who is, it's his wish if he wants to, contribute or still continue with what he's doing. So I think that spreading awareness is not a good solution here, because the situation is very bad right now, and if it's not stopped currently, then it can lead to irreversible changes. So I think all these plastics, carbon dioxide, instead of thinking how to dispose it, we should think how to prevent the production of these things. So we should, first of all, one person's effort again doesn't do anything again. So I think it should be the government who gives laws about many things. And what I would personally like to do is think about alternatives to such things which don't harm the environment and which are easy to dispose of, and which don't leave a lot of carbon footprint. Yeah.
Okay, Fadil. And your question, your mystery was the rainbow, which I think you can solve if you learn enough optics. Okay, so your suggestion that the government should be more vigilant is a good one. Anyway, I was more interested in what you individually would do, and you said you will reduce use. Okay, Aarti, I think.
Yeah, ma'am. Next we have, thank you, Fadil. Next we have Myra.
Yeah.
Yes, so I do not mean to offend anyone, but I feel we have a very blunt perspective of how we will save the earth. It is not always reduce, reuse, and recycle. There's only so much you can do for that, right? Like you say, completely we will reuse almost everything. It's not possible to reuse everything, right? If you look at it that way, it's not possible. Now reduce, like how much of plastic can we actually reduce? Like in our daily lives, can we completely stop using it? No, that's not possible. So reduce is only an amount you can do. Now coming to the point of recycling. When you come to recycling, there's another process involved that uses a certain amount of energy and resources that we in turn cannot give back. And we all have all the means to spread awareness to people. It's up to the people to take action, to do things. It's easier said than done. People cannot do things. They can always say that, oh, we will pick up plastic, we will motivate, we will make posters, but how much of that actually works on people? There is only a small percentage of people who take action and do things. So now, for example, when the Industrial Revolution and plastics were invented and all that started, we were very happy with those developments, and we explored it further, went further, we proceeded more, and we explored a lot of other aspects. But if you see how much that impacted Earth later on, and now we are trying to look for solutions to it. So that time we dive headfirst into the equation. It's not always that. You sometimes have to sit and think how it affects something else. It's not about doing all the time. If you do things, most things are interconnected. A certain action affects another. So if we all the time go about inventing things, it doesn't necessarily mean that if it works for one, it will work for the other, right? Like look at plastic. It helps in so many things today, right? It's part of technology and other things. They help so much, but so many pros and cons, right? The environment's being affected. We're having a lot of losses in those aspects. And we still continue to invent. There is still some part of it that helps us. So when we explore something, we should think about the aspect. We should sit and think about the probability and the outcome of it, not always go about that this work, we can proceed further with it. Thank you.
Okay, Myra, you were talking about psychology and how different people react differently. So maybe the different reactions to plastics is also there. Some people use it, some people misuse it. So I think we should reduce the use of, or rather misuse of plastic. Thank you, Myra.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Anirudh.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I know I already got a chance, but I just wanted to add a few more points. If I had this weekend, up till yesterday, I had gone to Chikmagalur for a vacation just to take a break from everything. So I had gone to this this place called Muthodi Forest. I had gone on a safari there. One more thing I saw there was, I saw these places called beats. They were camps to stop poaching. So say a person takes a tiger, you can punish the person, but you cannot replace the tiger. The tiger will have gone, so you can't replace the tiger. And since everything is interconnected, I sometimes think, why have we developed all of this? We have just destroyed the balance of nature. Everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected. Every problem has a solution. When you find that solution, that will cause another problem. So no solution is perfect that way. The balance destructions cannot be repaired. That's why I thought of the Muthodi Forest Safari as an example. So that's why we should stop the destruction of balance and continue to build on it. Another thing I would do is I would actually get into a position of power and help in coordination, because if without coordination nothing can be done. I went again in Chikmagalur. I went to this place called Mullayanagiri. It's supposedly the tallest peak in Karnataka, and I thought it would be a good place to trek. Yet what actually happened was, there were so many cars, and there was a traffic and there was a jam, and nothing was managed properly. So nothing can be done without coordination. So what I would, to summarize everything, to summarize my points, I would not continue to destroy the balance, yet I would start building on top of the nature's balance, and I would get into a position of power, so I can help with the coordination everywhere and make it easier. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think I saw Myra. Do you wanted to add something, Myra?
Yes. So the balance of probabilities, assumptions for future things. So it's like a problem. There are two sides to it, a solution and the problem itself. So we can solve a problem, but in turn we have to know how it will affect something else and how we will deal with that something else then and there. So as I said before, it's not diving headfirst into the equation, right? Like that time when we invented plastic, we were only looking forward, like how we will proceed with this, how much it can impact civilization, but we were not looking at how it impacted the environment. And now we are here in a crisis with global warming and pollution. So maybe had we thought that time that the usage of plastic should be at least a bit limited in how in everyday things, it could have impacted now. Like the decisions they took back then could have helped us now, right? So I feel that some things are supposed to be used in moderation, and that all solutions shouldn't directly be used but should be tested and then confirmed through a trial and error method. Thank you.
Thank you, Myra. I think, is there anyone else who wants to add something? Otherwise, I think we are done with the 8 panelists. Yash, yes, you want to add something? Yash, go ahead.
I agree with Myra when she says that going to malls and raising placards affects a small percentage of people, but little change is better than no change. And also, if we want to educate the people, going to malls may be one way, but the best way would be to integrate this into students from the grassroots level, from their childhood. Now, we have been fortunate enough to come up in and have good education, go to good schools. That's why when we see someone throwing plastic on the road, when we see someone littering, our blood boils. But those people, well, I wouldn't say it's their fault. It's because they haven't been taught. They don't realize what they are doing wrong. They need to realize what they're doing wrong. And this has come into us from 5 years old. We've been like this from 5 years. My brother, who's 5 years old, he's aware about this. So that is something that you can't really adopt going later in life, because that becomes a way of life. And also, I wanted to add that if we were to think about all the problems, like we are amazing at finding problems in everything. If we were to try to find problems in things before we implemented them, we would never implement anything. So we have to implement everything, but be careful and not let the greed get the best of us.
Okay, Aarti ma'am, you have to give chance to the other 2 judges to ask their questions.
Yeah, sir. I was about to say that children, those who, I think we have to have a small time check here. So we have more questions coming up. So we would like to listen to your views as well. So can we have, sir, over to you and the internal judges.
No, there are 2 more judges, no?
Yeah, Soumya ma'am, Sharbanu ma'am, who has to go, who wants to shoot out your question?
Okay, I'll start.
Yeah, you go ahead,
Sure. Okay, because we have been listening to a lot of technology and things around us. I have a question within you, okay? So try to go a little introspect within you. Like, whenever we do something, it gives you a lot of emotions, right? Like when you dance, you feel very energetic. When you listen to music, you feel calm. Or if you fight with your sister or brother, sometimes you might be feeling more energetic or you'll get angry, isn't it? But when you listen or you see something about science, like a phenomenon, or maybe something at your home, or maybe something in the newspaper which happened around in this world, what emotions do you go through? What do you feel exactly? Yeah? And how do you deal with that emotion? I just want to know what happens within you. So you can explain this with any example of what you heard and what you felt at that point of time and how you dealt with that emotion. I hope my question is clear. If so, you can start answering.
Well, it's a very interesting question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good, Soumya.
I'm more interesting answers.
Yeah, hope so. Hope so.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, as usual, children, those who are ready, think and then raise hands so that we can go with the flow. Yeah, Arushi, I see you are ready instantly with an emotion.
Okay, so I remember seeing in the newspaper once, like maybe in April 2021, that the vaccine out now, vaccines are being tested on this person, that person, co-vaccine, Covishield, all these things. When I saw this, there was a heart, like my heart kind of felt uplifted that we are finally going to come out of these bad times. But what also made me feel was a little confused. Why? Because I at first thought that it would take years to make vaccines. Because when you see the normal process of making vaccines takes about a time period of about 4 to 6 years, anywhere between that, or maybe even 8 to 10 years. It depends. So it's very confusing on how quickly these scientists and everyone tested the RNA within COVID viruses, how they tested that the spike proteins go to our lungs and they stick towards our lungs, and how the cell membrane lets them enter. So it's really interesting that how quickly they were able to do it. So I, of course, had a feeling of happiness and confusion. And the last feeling that I had was probably overwhelming. Because when I saw this, that is when it struck me. Why do we need a vaccine for COVID right now? At this point, didn't we start wearing masks? Didn't we start taking precautions? But it kept spreading, right? So what really got me thinking was that how does COVID multiply in our body? How in just 2-3 months has it become a complete pandemic? And that now people are literally like just struggling that how do we get our lives back to normal? How do we go back to school, back to work, everything? So I did some research there, and I found out that how the spike proteins in COVID-19, like I mentioned earlier, actually stick to your lungs, go through the cell membrane into your body, affect it, and go to the ribosomes, which are the photocopiers of the cell. And these little, let's just say ribonucleic acid, they, instead of the deoxyribonucleic acid, they end up making ribonucleic acid. And because of this RNA, it starts affecting our body. So because of this, our immune system starts killing them. But what happens is that the body later realizes that there's no point killing them because the ribosomes will just keep on multiplying. So because of this, what the scientists declared was that the body needs to start making antibodies. So this is because of from my research, what I did with research is that you don't need to have like COVID. In COVID, your immune system can help you to a certain extent. After that, you need antibodies. That is exactly why the COVID virus vaccine has come out. So that is what my perspective is about this place.
Thank you, Arushi. Then we'll get with all the responses from everybody once, and then Soumya ma'am will come to you for more questions. Or to Sharbanu ma'am. Anirudh?
Ma'am, out of all the feelings I feel whenever I see a problem or the solution to the problem, the feeling that's always there, either in the main or on the back, is always interest. So I always feel interested with most problems. Like, for example, once long ago, I don't exactly remember when, I read this article that till then I thought black holes always symbolize destruction. Then I read this article about black holes. They send out gravitational waves that compress clouds of gas into stars and everything. So at that point, at first I felt excited that it's not every day that you find an article that day on black holes, which is my favorite topic. So at first I felt excited, and as I read it, at first I felt disbelief because I couldn't really believe it. And then after that, I just started thinking about it, and well, it seemed to fit in with the theory. It seemed to fit in with everything I knew. So at that point, I just felt happy because I learned something new. And well, it's every day you learn something new, but something about your favorite topic that really excited me. So yeah.
Thank you, Anirudh. And I think that very, very long ago was really nice to see get it from a 5-year-old to say very long ago. Okay. Thank you, Anirudh. Yash?
So when I hear about new discoveries or new theories being proved or theories being presented, I often wonder, like, if you were to go and read about something new, I often wonder I don't understand it at first glance, obviously. And I think, how does this affect me? Like, how does this affect a general person? And it's something that's so far away. For example, the black hole, with the picture that was found in the black hole, it's something that's so far away. Why do people spend so much time? Why do people make careers about something that they're probably never going to have to physically deal with? Now, this helps me realize that not everything has to be about the present. It also stems from the curiosity of the people trying to be quenched. Also, every time there's a new discovery or a theory, it opens more doors, it opens more questions, which allow people to further innovate and explore. For example, I'm pretty sure all students over here and the teachers alike are aware about how a theory presented at a certain point of time was further improved and refined by another scientist, which was again further improved and refined, and that is what we know as science today. Now, with every theory that comes out, there is always potential of refinement and improvement. So in my opinion, everybody should look for that niche that is missing and try to find out how they can improve this and how they can contribute and take the subject forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Yash. Pooja?
Yes. So, Soumya, when you asked this question, two incidents just popped up in my mind. The first one was, I think for my 9th birthday, I got a microscope as a gift. So first I was like, I was expecting a toy of some kind, and then I got a microscope. But soon I started, I wanted to see, organism or like part of a cell under the microscope. So I started working on it. I read the instructions manual because those days, we don't get internet. So I went through the instruction manual, and then I worked out the knobs and all. And that's when it got a little exciting for me. Okay, so because the whole process itself was so interesting to do. And when I finally adjusted the microscope, it took like around 20-25 minutes. When I finally got the final product and I saw it, I was just amazed. Like I was awestruck because I still remember the first thing I saw was the wing of a honeybee, and the pattern and the mosaic structure of the wings, like it was so delicate, and I was just hooked onto the microscope. So after even like an hour, you could see me with like odd pieces of things like an onion from the kitchen, a leaf blade, a piece of string. There's just all around me, and I'm trying to like see everything through the microscope. So that was an experience like I will never forget. And another incident that gives me everyday happiness is like I have this job of watering the plants in the evening in my house. That's my job. So, but every evening there's this one incident that makes it super interesting. So towards the evening around 4:35, the sunlight just filters and just the ray of sunlight just falls on the plants. And when you spray the water, like a very fine stream of like a spray of water, when you just like aim it towards the sky, you get a very big rainbow all across the garden. So seeing this every day makes me feel very happy. So it motivates me to do the job. So those are the two incidents that come to my mind. Yeah.
Thank you, Pooja. And the joy of microscope we could feel and seeing something, but I'm more surprised in you reading an instruction manual, because we generally tend to start doing it, reading it. So that was more surprising for me. Then thank you, Myra.
So every time I discovered something new or I observed something that was different and I didn't understand, my mind would be flooded with questions. But my first thing is I want to know. I want to go deeper into that aspect. So take for instance, when I was younger, I never understood all the kingdom, phylum, class, order, or family of animals in all those encyclopedias, which made it very hard for me to infer all the context that was given. So instead, I would physically try to observe, like the peach-colored house lizards. I'd put them in jars with small air holes, and then for some time observe them, and then let them go where I found them. So I used to do experiments like that until I was old enough to understand that kind of context in books. So later on, once I got to physically experience and handle reptiles and interact with them in the field, I understood what it's like, and I could relate to those books more from a physical experience. And so when I grew older, like my dad tried to support me, and he too showed me videos of things. Like if I didn't know a certain reptile, my immediate reaction is, I really want to know what that is. I want to know all the aspects of it, and I'd immediately go back to my books, sit and read through it. If the context I was looking for wasn't there, I'd explore other means, or I'd ask my dad if he'd know what that is. So for me, that feeling is always curiosity and wanting to dig deeper and learn it to the fullest, know everything about it. Enough to give someone a lecture or tell them everything about that if they ask.
That's interesting, Myra. So I'll come to you when I have you tell us when you have the next topic ready. So we'll come and listen to you. And thank you. And then we have Radhika next.
Yes, so I think my reaction of any type of news depends on the nature of it or the type of thing it is. My dad often tells me about new things that have been discovered. So I think it might have been last year or somewhere in early January when there was a news where dogs or pets that had been bought during the pandemic were like not able to handle being in the presence of others. So this news made me think that do we really have the right to mess with other people's lives like this? And it made me and I personally love dogs, so looking at this news, it made me rethink my personal opinion that is it really right for us to do something like this. So then as another example, when there was the news that there were new vaccines being developed for children for COVID-19, my first honest reaction was a sort of mixture of fear and curiosity. So the fear was more because, first of all, vaccines generally take multiple years to come up with. So the fact that it was so sudden within 6 months really surprised me, and it made me think that what if this is not safe, because children often have weaker immune systems. So I related to my own experiences. For example, I had a relative, and I would not like to hurt anybody's personal opinion, but I had a relative that had a really bad adverse reaction to the vaccine. So I was scared that if something like that happens to a child, what would happen then? So I think generally I relate to my own thoughts and experiences. And I can even take an example of my own sort of discovery, or not exactly, but when I got a question in a weekend worksheet about digestion, I tried researching about it to answer the question, but I wasn't able to find anything that really that could properly describe the question. So instead, I thought of my own common sense, my own knowledge, and I put that into the answer. And I think that works the best. So again, I think of my own common things, and that's another thing that science often can be related to common sense rather than the extensive research. Thank you.
Thank you for connecting between sense and science and playing with words. Thank you, Radhika. And then Fadil.
Yes, so most of these scientific inventions, discoveries, new things I hear of, they're mostly in the newspaper or on the news page of a web browser. The first reaction is, okay, finally something scientific coming up. Because most of the things I read, sometimes most of the things are not even related and I'm not even interested in it. So yeah, first reaction is that, and then I start reading the headlines or the article. They're worded and sentenced in such a way that the reader thinks that he doesn't know anything and this is the truth. So after I finish reading the article, I'm left more confused than satisfied. There are hundreds of questions coming up about the article, and most of the times I find myself browsing on the web to this new thing, and finally when I'm satisfied I stop and I realize that okay, this was right, and I feel more satisfied then.
Okay. Thank you, Fadil. So what was, I hope, the recent news of all that discovery, one day we will also have our gear cubs finding something new, and then we are looking forward to that news. So next, thank you, Fadil. Next we have Soham.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Soham.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
So what I feel depends highly on the news that I'm getting. Sometimes very interesting news comes around. Like a few incidents come to my mind, like when Shanmuga Subramanian, who is an Indian engineer, found the Vikram lander on Mars using the pictures that were publicly available that were given by NASA. This makes me feel, he's an Indian, so it makes me feel a little bit proud to be an Indian. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel like, yes, something good has happened to you. And another thing that comes to my mind is when I read that COVID is forcing India into a nationwide lockdown. With this news, I feel a sense of uncertainty. You feel scared. You feel like everything is going to change and you're going to have to change the way you live. And those are two very contrasting feelings that I feel, but both are from the news.
Soham?
Yes, ma'am, I'm done.
Okay, you're done. Okay, I thought you had something to continue. I thought you paused, so that's why I just rechecked. Thank you. Anirudh?
Yes, I just wanted to add a bit more. The most natural, I think according to me, the most natural human emotion that everybody feels, no matter who they are, where they are, what they are, that does not matter really. It's curiosity, and it's very natural. There's like what was already said about the microscope. No, you don't read the manual because you're curious and you're interested and you don't want to wait for anything. You just want to go and do it. You don't want to wait for anything. You just want to do it immediately. You don't want to do anything else. You don't want to wait. You don't want to do anything else. You just want to do it immediately. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. So you think you can do it. And then it's actually a want. Knowledge and everything, it's a want, but it becomes. But when you want it so badly that it literally becomes a need for you. That's what you can't wait for. You can't wait for anything. You think it's the most.
Okay. Anirudh, I think we got your point. Arthur, you make sure you manage time.
Yes, sir. Okay, Myra, can you make it quick, Kanna? I think we.
Yes, sir, I will.
Fine.
So sometimes I just I find things from very simple ones. Like my dad being a musician, he knows a lot about how the instruments function. So I just get curious and randomly ask him how it is. And then he tells me all about it. So sometimes I just sit and relate that to everyday things, like a resonance-based thing. Like if there's very little water in the glass, it's very high-pitched. And in an acoustic piano, the shortest string, the last octave, the highest pitched, whereas the longest string, the lowest pitched, and the one that resonates the most vibrates, and all that. The same way, I try connecting things that I do every day to scientific finds or things that I read in books, and yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Myra. Sharbanu, ma'am?
This round, you'll all keep to 1 minute each. Okay? Thank you, children.
Thank you, sir.
So maybe my question also I'll ask in the same way so that they can answer it in just 1 minute, sir. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So you all know that how many letters are there in science? 7, right? But when we take what are there in the science thing, the number of fields in science, it's not 7, it's not 70, it's not 700, it's more than that, right? So if you are given a chance, or if you would be given a chance in the future, which field would you choose? And is there any reason behind that? I hope my question is clear.
Yes, ma'am. I think they are ready with answers as well. Arishi is ready.
That's great.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So what I would choose is virology. Why? Virology has always been very interesting for me. I've always loved how the human body in general reacts to the viruses or any foreign bodies in general. When they attack our body, our immune system immediately fires up at once. It knows that we have to start reacting to it, and it starts reacting to all the possible ways. It starts doing everything possible in its hand to stop the foreign bodies from invading our bodies completely and stopping our function. What happens after this? Our temperature goes high at times, what we call fever. Why do we get fever? Because sometimes the temperature of the body, when it goes high, some viruses can get killed by high temperature. Sometimes it may be cough because it's the fight is going on in the lungs. It can be anything in general. So what has really fascinated me is how viruses are made. And today we are seeing COVID-19, the virus today. But when you see many viruses have recently been developing even more because of mutating. So because of all this, I feel that virology is the most interesting, according to me, in all fields of sciences. And this is why I would love to go in that.
Thank you, Arishi, for making it crisp and short and to the point.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, I have Myra.
Yes, so I feel that I would choose a herpetology out of all of them, because I feel the study of reptiles over periods of time have interested me the most, because they're so different. Their senses, the way they adapt to things, it's so different from warm-blooded animals on an entirely different level. I also feel that rather misunderstood because of certain common fiction or society's rumors, and many people's experiences with them, bad experiences. So I feel that they are very intriguing, and many things have not been uncovered about them, and that I'd like to learn more and explore further in this aspect. Thank you.
Thank you, Myra. Anirudh? Anna, just a reminder for all of us. This one is for a 1 minute one. Yeah, Anirudh, go ahead.
I would choose physics, because to me, what physics means is physics is the study of matter and its physical and everything that's matter and all its physical qualities, and it's a study of 3 levels to me: a very small level, the visible level, and a huge level. A small level being atomic and subatomic level, the visible level being what we can see, feel, and matter normally, and the super huge level being what we can see in space and everything. So yeah, that's why I would like to be a physicist. Thank you.
Thank you, Anirudh. Next, I have Pooja.
Yeah, so I would like to pursue medicine, because I feel there is no satisfaction than helping the people who come to you in pain or confusion. So in medicine, I would like to further specialize in the branch of neurology, because I'm very interested in the functions of the brain and the nervous system. So that's the branch of science that I would like to pursue.
Oh, thank you, Pooja. Wonderful. Yeah, Yash?
Now the branch of science or the field I've wanted to pursue has changed at least 100 times over the years. But within the last 2 years, I've come to finalize on electronics, and especially in the energy sector of the industry, because now this may be a little more practical answer, but within the next 10 years, EVs are going to take over. They should take over for the sustenance of the earth, and I want to be on the forefront of that. I want to be a part of the team, be part of the teams that develop the better battery, that develop the better generators, that develop the better solar panels. So just strive for greener energy, and well, safer future for all.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Yash. Fadil?
Okay, so I think I would choose something like fluid mechanics. I think it's maybe because of I've been exposed to it in my childhood. I have experienced many experiments, maybe by accident or a procedural experiment on it, and it has always fascinated me. I would show it to my sister, calling it magic, and I'm always fascinated about how things fly in the air and swim in the water, the motions of the layers of water and air above and below the object. It's very intriguing to me, and I would like to study that.
Thanks, Fadil. Soham?
If I could take any field in science, I would like to take the mechanical physics field. I'd like to take this field because of how much it interests me and how from very simple and mundane things like force and gravity and just angles in general, you can make such complicated problems that people struggle to answer. This is also the field I find the hardest to wrap my head around because there are so many concepts that seem so obvious at the first glance, but when you get the problem, you are lost as to how to go about it. This is the field that confuses me the most, and so it is the field that interests me the most.
That's a nice way of putting it. Thank you, Soham. Radhika?
So yes, if I could choose any field, I think I would choose biology, because while so many people would love technology or machinery, I'm always fascinated by the technology and machinery of the body itself. The brain you can call a type of software with all the different components, like how our eyes are just a lot more complicated cameras, and our ears are like microphones. In this way, technically our body is its own machine, and then the other parts of the body, like all the organs, are also like machinery, and like a machine, if anything goes wrong in some part, the whole body is jeopardized. So I love all the different aspects of the bodies and how it has so many different functions and how many unexplored and unknown features of the body there are. Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika. I think Jarvanu ma'am, all of them were able to give the at least 8 fields out of the thousands and millions available.
Right.
Yeah. Sir, I think judges round questions like internal judges, I think Soumya ma'am and Sharbanu ma'am are done.
Okay, it was good round. I think they were able to express themselves because they had enough time, and that's always good. The last round, they were restricted for time, and they again did very well. So both the ways, they showed themselves to be very brilliant. I'm happy about it. Now, a quick round, maybe half a minute. You have to think of a product that amazed you. I have one product, which I'll talk about it at the end. So any one product, simple. You just need to name the product and why it amazed you. Half a minute each. Shoot. Everybody is thinking so much.
Maybe they have too many, they are finding it difficult to shortlist one.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I think Radhika is ready. Yeah, Radhika, go ahead.
So yes, so I think a product that amazed me was the Apple Watch. So the first thought I had when at first was just a simple watch, and as it progressed so much and so many new features were added, I think the reason why it amazed me so much was that we carry around phones or laptops or something like that are a lot bigger, whereas this watch you can just wear on your wrist and have most of the vital functions while making it a lot more portable. So I think that was really interesting for me, and that made me really glad. It was nice that you can compact something yet keep most of its functions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Next. Sorry. Next, I have Arushi.
One product that really amazed me was trackers. Now, as you might have seen everywhere in general, there are trackers for people who want to do something. Like, for example, have you seen those Swiggy motorbikes? they have these little trackers which tell us where our order exactly is currently, or wherever it is. That's one example. Another example is, for example, if you put a tracker on your dog, like on your dog's leash. So by mistake, if you let go of the leash, or if you can't see, then you basically cannot, let's just say, like you can find the dog. So that is why a dog tracker, or any tracker in general, really amazed me, because how it functioned, just without anyone needing to go behind something or not able to do something. It's a really portable and not portable, a really easy way, and really let's just say convenient way to do it. So
Okay. Thank you, Arushi. And then we have Myra.
So I believe it is the propulsion system of a plane. So it intrigued me a lot because how they cause that much of pressure to go with the flow of the wind, the aerodynamics involved, and how exactly that entire machine functioned to keep the plane in the air, and all that behind it. So those kind of things are very interesting to me because of the way something so simplistic could help an entire airplane function, carry people from place to place, and transportation altogether.
Yeah. Thanks, Myra. Pooja?
Yeah, so I would say the electron microscope, because it's able to obtain high resolution images of the cells, and for the first time, scientists could actually see what are the components of a cell, what makes a cell, the cell organelles and stuff. And this really helped a lot of people because due to this invention, many diseases that were thought uncurable were then solved, and people and scientists and doctors were able to save more lives. So I would say the electron microscope.
Okay. Thank you, Pooja. Anirudh?
I'm going to take a very different view on it. The machine that would intrigue me most is a machine that I have read about a lot but hasn't been invented yet. A quantum computer would intrigue me a lot, even though I don't know how it will work right now. But if it is invented, I'll like really go to my limits to figure out how it works.
Thank you, Anirudh. Yash?
Now, the product that amazes me the most is one that is probably the most common: a mobile phone, a wireless mobile phone, a smartphone that, I mean, now we may not be able to appreciate because of how much we take it for granted. But if we take a step back and we imagine how two people can converse from the opposite ends of the world, it will never fail to baffle you.
Thank you, Yash. Adil?
Okay, so I was fascinated by the Tesla Model S, which recently had this I mean, a lot of AI features in it. You can have an autopilot system. You can have a lot of auto lane change system. There's this summon system where the car just comes to you when you call it, and that's very fascinating as to how AI has reached so much in even cars these days.
Yeah, thank you, Fadil. Soham?
So one product that intrigues me a lot is a Bluetooth earphones or Bluetooth headphones. So on its own, earphones and headphones are very intriguing products because of the way they work. How humans were able to model the way that humans speak into a product and make sounds with it was very intriguing to me. And Bluetooth connection is also very intriguing to me because it's just a bunch of ways that tells a device what sound to make, which I found very interesting.
Sir, we have 8 products lined up.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very interesting to see your product. I asked you this question because I just wanted to introduce one phenomenon to you. As a scientist, you always don't need to invent new things. Or so to say, you can productize many simple things. You have plenty of room in that area. I'll give you one example. How many of you don't know about optic fiber? Is there anyone who doesn't know anything about optic fiber? Okay. Anidu doesn't seem to know. Radhika also doesn't seem to know. Okay. You all know a surface reflects light. Glass reflects light. Okay. Optic fiber is nothing but packing small pieces of glasses which reflect the light from one end to the other end. And it takes just no time. This was invented by a scientist in Hong Kong. See, we all know glass reflects light, but he put it into a product. Today, you are having internet working only because of optic fiber. See the value of it. One end to another end, light passes so fast, and you have the data. The same way, you all can look at very simple principles and put it into a product. That's only one of the areas which you should know, not only always researching and finding out new things. This is also one kind of research. Okay, for somebody, I think Myra talked about, who talked about aeroplane?
Sir, I talked about it.
Okay, Myra talked about aeroplane. You know the funniest thing? Till today, there is no theory that proves how aeroplane flies. People know how to construct aeroplanes, but they don't have a theory how the aeroplane flies. If you want to research and find out. So in science, things like that also exist. Okay, I am extremely thrilled to see all of you talking so deep, so vast, and so professional-like. Okay, keep it up. Don't worry about you winning the prize or not. See, out of 8, one of you will be declared the winner. Other 7 need not feel bad. Okay, that's my advice to you. You have done a great job. You're doing a great job. Just take it the way it comes. Over to Aarti ma'am for the rest.
Yeah, so see, because you have given us such wonderful answers, so I think you need to give a little time to the judges.
Okay.
So Deepika ma'am, Tanya ma'am, you kindly engage them with the set of questions for the audience and the participants. We'll be back soon.
Sure.
Sure, ma'am.
Sir, the judges and some people will get an invite for a session, sir. We can just
So you
join
want me to join the breakout room?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir.
Yes, sir. You join the breakout room. Yeah.
Children, all of you have done really well. All of you have done really well, and your answers were so, it had all the scientific content, everything, the scientific attitude, the way you answered, everything was awesome.
Yes.
And I congratulate each one of you.
Yes. It was an amazing discussion. I mean, it was an amazing, not only the questions, hearing the answers also. We all, it was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much.
And it was very enriching even for us, actually.
Yes.
Listening to your answers. So
yes. Anyone from the audience who want to ask question to our 8 panelists, please, you can ask questions or they can give feedback about our program or sessions today. Please, our mentors, anyone? Or our gear cubs, anyone want to ask question to our panelist? Or anyone wants to answer the question asked, because they were so exciting questions were there that others also can feel to answer, right?
I think Juhan was actually showing enthusiasm that time.
Yes. Juhan, you want to say something? You raised hand in between, that's right.
Ma'am, we left the meeting a while ago.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, ma'am, I don't think he's there.
Okay.
Yes. Any of our mentor, please, you want to ask or give feedback about our session? Yes. Yes,
Ma'am, there's some disturbance. I don't think you can hear clearly. Yeah, but what is time, like astronomically?
Okay. Anyone wants to answer from our panelists? What do you think about it? It's a nice question, though. Time. I mean, there's no need to be a perfect answer. Yes, it can be. Yes, Radhika, please.
Yes, so I don't think I have an exactly accurate answer, but as I think of it, time, you can't, I don't know exactly how to astronomically properly describe it, but I guess you could think of it as maybe the patterns of the sun and the moon. That's one way to have a wider aspect of time, the months, for example. Then another thing would be the different the constellations. Different constellations often appear at different times of the night, or often even different times of the year. So things like that can be used to define time.
Okay, good. Yes, Anirudh wanted to say something, Anirudh?
Ma'am, time is it's actually a measure of events. It's a measure it's a measure to order events as so since each person has different events, time is relative to each observer.
Okay, that's a nice perspective though. Yes. Yes, Yash?
In my opinion, time is an abstract idea that we all have adopted as a means of measuring how certain things take place. Now, that being said, time is not absolute because from what I've read, time depends on a lot of other factors which we may not currently understand. So the time we experience on Earth right now, with respect to some other planet in some other conditions, it may differ vastly.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, I would like to ask a question to the panelists.
Sure,
Yes, Sujan. Go for it.
So my question is, for what purpose do you think life was created on Earth?
Okay. That's a kind of
interesting question. Yeah.
Yes, yes, please.
Well, there wouldn't be a set purpose for why life was created on Earth. Now, saying created itself implies that there was a creator, which many people may not accept. Now, I believe it was just a huge coincidence. Mistake would be a strong word, but yes, a huge coincidence that what has happened has happened. Because if the Earth was any closer to the sun or any further away from the sun, no life.
Right.
And if evolution was to take place at a slower rate, again, there wouldn't be what we know today. So it's a huge lucky coincidence.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Anirudh want to say something?
Yes. According to me, if you want to know exactly who created life, that would go into like a religion. That would go into a lot of religious discussion, and I really don't know that much about it. Scientific way, in a scientific way, as was said, I guess it's a really big coincidence. But yeah, it was life was created when all the essential elements of life, carbon, amino acids, and everything came together, and yeah, that was formed. That was how life was formed scientifically.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have 2 more questions.
Okay. Okay.
So, ma'am, I forgot. A few theories suggest that the universe is like music. Then, who would be the composer?
Okay. Anybody has any suggestion about that?
Take on this? Yes, Radhika.
Any guesses? Again, I wouldn't like to go into like the religious entire thing. I think scientifically you could say that it's just the elements, everything around us you could call the composer or the conductor, because like every small thing that exists right now we do need to survive. So I think everything around us, all the elements can be considered the composer.
That's interesting. Okay.
Ma'am, my second question was, like, the Kobe satellite was able to view the radiation released after the Big Bang, like just after the afterglow of creation. it was able to view still the radiation, but it was all blurry. And then the WMAP satellite saw it more clearer, and then Planck saw it much more better. And how can they view this radiation?
Those
Yes, Anirudh.
Yeah, go ahead, Anirudh. Go ahead.
From what I know, there are these special detectors for all kinds of waves and for all kinds of waves. So I guess that's how the satellites would have viewed them.
Okay, Soham, Fadil, Pooja, you also want to say something? No?
Tanya ma'am, Deepika ma'am,
yes.
I think we have our judges back here.
Yes.
So for the 8 panelists, Kanna, can all of you have your cameras turned on? We just want to see your faces, happiness, excitement, all that. Sir?
Yes, now I request sir, please announce the winners.
Okay, so
Sir has not joined us.
Sir has not joined us yet.
Okay. But we all just came back from the room, ma'am, so I think he should be able to join in a minute.
In between, Nandi ma'am, you want to... sir is
Yeah, great job. I'm so proud of each one of you children. Very, very deep answers. I'm so proud, and I'm also eagerly waiting for the winner. So all the best to each one of you. Let the best one win. God bless. Over to you, sir.
Any guesses, ma'am?
For the wonderful time we had for about 2 hours, I think I should be thankful to all the children. You're all really great. And we could possibly have made it for 3 hours. We wouldn't have known how time flies, but that'd be too much. One point you all should know, how to put across things succinctly. Instead of taking 5 minutes, can you do it in 2 minutes? That one talent, please learn. Figure it out in your mind how you want to express and express that. Otherwise, everywhere you won't get time. Here, we want to give you enough time, but not everywhere. Apart from that, we are really thrilled to see your depth and how much you know. It is great. I always say children are smarter than we mentors, and that is proved here also. It's coming to a conclusion of the competition, where I would like to say all of you are equal, but one is more equal. And that would be the person who gets the prize. It doesn't mean the rest 7 don't deserve it. No. Actually speaking, all the 8 of you are winners, as I said in the beginning. But all said and done, there is something called a winner. And that happens to be a girl. So the boy should not feel bad. And among the girls, there's only one girl who will get it. So the other girls should not feel bad. So it is... anybody wants to guess before I tell the name?
Myra.
Myra, okay. Anybody else?
Pooja?
Okay. Anybody else?
Pooja.
Okay.
I would say Myra.
All right, good. It is Pooja Viswanathan, who is the mini Nobel winner for this year. And all the best to all of you. Over to Aarti ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. I think, Pooja, you want to say a few words? We would like to hear from you. And then...
yes, ma'am. I'm very honored to receive this prize. And thank you. Thank you, everyone.
No, that's not saying a few words.
I think before you announced, she had so many points coming up. After you announced, now she doesn't have words, probably.
Okay, no problem.
And I want to say a few words. Real few words.
No, it was a surprise to me, so I'm still processing it. I'm just very happy and honored to receive the award. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I have a question to you. What do you think made you the winner?
So I would say my different perspective for every answer, and like I thought about it before giving the answer. Like I made some points, and then instead of taking too much time, I just hold the points what I had in my mind. So I feel that gave me an edge. But yeah.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
everyone did well. So
All right. Yes, Aarti ma'am, you can.
Thank you, sir. So Tanya ma'am, Deepika ma'am, over to the
Yes,
Deepika ma'am, please.
On behalf of everyone, I first congratulate the winners and also many congratulations to all the participants. A special thanks to our Chief Guest, Chairman Sir, Sarvesh Sir, Principal Ma'am, and the entire team for creating this distinct opportunity for our Gear Cups. I would also like to extend special thanks to our fellow mentors and the Gear Cups for joining us and making this occasion a huge success. Namaste.